consider streamlines, streaklines and path lines for flow over a cylinder. In this first figure, or in all of these figures, the gray lines are the streamlines, and streamlines are always tangent to the velocity vector, meaning that there's never any mass flow across a streamline. So a characteristic of a streamline is that they're tangent to the velocity vector, and therefore there's no mass flow across a streamline. A path line is a line that follows a particular particle as a function of time, and so it traces out the path that a specific particle takes. And so if we look at time 1, we can see the particle is just starting. At time 2, this particle has traced out part of a path through the first portion of the flow domain. In time 3, the particle has traced out a longer path, and it has continued further down this path, and then it continues for time 4 and time 5. So at time 5, our particle has reached the end of the flow domain, and what we've traced out is the path that this particular particle has taken throughout the computational domain, or throughout the fluid domain. Okay. A streak line differs from a path line in that a streak line is a line that is generated by all of the particles that pass through a given point over time. And so what we're looking at here at time 1 is we're looking at the same point, so we're looking at exactly the same origin, but now as a function of time, what we're following is all of the particles that have crossed through this point. Okay, and so the line that's shown here, the streak line, shows all of the particles that have passed through this original point and where they are at time 2. And we can follow this now for time 3, time 4b, and time 5b. And in this case, I've used times 4b and 5b because they're slightly different than for the path line example. Okay, so when we trace this streak line, we can get some rather interesting shapes at times, because the velocity of our fluid varies in different regions of the flow, and so some particles that start later in the fluid flow can actually overtake particles that started earlier in the flow, leading to a streak line in this final state that looks as follows. Okay. So this would be a streak line. The important thing to note is that when we're looking at steady state flows, streak lines, path lines and streamlines are equivalent.